Today's episode of the Cowboys Have Clinched the NFC East BS podcast is brought to you by SeatGeek, our presenting sponsor, the only fan-friendly app for buying and selling tickets for sports and music. Heading into December, we have college hoops, college football, NHL, NBA, NFL. You need SeatGeek. Drop your ticket app and use one built for 2016 and beyond. Use SeatGeek. Do everything on your phone. Download the free SeatGeek app or go to SeatGeek.com. We are also brought to you by Rocket Mortgage, by Quicken Loans. They bring the mortgage process into the 21st century. They do allow you to do everything on your phone or tablet. If you're looking to refinance your mortgage or buy a home, check out Rocket Mortgage today at quickenloans.com/Bill Simmons, equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030. Again, quickenloans.com/Bill Simmons. Check out theringer.com. Check out the Ringer Podcast Network. I will have a piece on the Ringer this week.
Nice.
Yeah. Writing comeback. My fingers still work. They type stuff.
I don't believe it.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that later in the week. That's Cousin Sal, and we are off. Wow. Ooh.
Nice.
Both of our teams won. It's still happy Pearl Jam music when both of our teams win. Check out PearlJam.com. PJ25, the big anniversary coming up. They've been gracious enough to let us use their music. We got to mix it up with the opening, though, Tate. We have a couple other songs we can use. Yeah, let's do that for Wednesday.
Come on, Tate. 3
podcasts this week. We have a delighted Cousin Sal. His Cowboys won. 35 million people watched that Thanksgiving game.
Yeah. Can I just, let's talk about this crew you've assembled here. This Joe, he's a crazy person. He just, while you're doing that last read, he shoves this microphone in my face. He sends me an email this week and says, the microphone is your friend. Get close to it. Bill is much like, the microphone is your friend, he says in the email.
It is your friend.
It's your friend. Do you get up close and lick all your friends, Joe? I'd love to know about some of these friendships.
Interesting. Joe is very concerned about the quality week to week of our podcast.
I understand. And then there's this Tate, who I'm sorry, he's running this pool of ours. He's 3 weeks behind in the scores.
The ZFL we do this picks pool, and Tate has been just. I don't even know if negligence is a good enough word.
It's not good.
It's been terrible. But Tate,
he quit on the pool like his Panthers quit on Riverboat Ron. I'm sorry.
Tate's going to fix that. So
let's do this.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Which was really fun, especially because it allowed us not to talk about politics at the table with our family members. But that Washington-Dallas game was just a really entertaining, great game. It was one of the most entertaining Thanksgiving games I can remember.
Super. And
well done.
The early one was close, but not entertaining.
No. That was your
Minnesota
typical 2016 game. It was just ugly. It was like that Ravens-Cincy game yesterday.
But that Washington-Dallas, they were at each other's throats. I'm worried about the defense. It's over 500 yards in offense for the Redskins. But man, we pull these games out. It's something else.
You really do. And Washington could have won.
Yeah.
If their kicker played better, you at least would have had to drive for a game-winning something at the end of the game. But their kicker, a lot
Isn't
of these
it sad
teams,
you could say that for 14 games? Like, if our kicker had played better, we would have
definitely
won.
That was one of those, though, if he had made a couple kicks. So
yeah.
I wanted to see what your team would have done with like 3 minutes left, having to go 50 yards. Has Dak's been in that situation?
First of all, it's Dak. You make fun of me not being in this corner.
I said Dak.
I thought you said Dax.
No, Dax.
Right. Yeah,
Dak Shepard has been in that corner.
He was driving against the Giants in the game they lost, and Terrence Williams didn't get out of bounds or whatever.
Right. That was the only time, right? Other than that, you've wrapped up these games.
I think that was it, yeah.
Like TB yesterday, Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time, just felt like he was going to come through. Even though Gronk was out, the Pats' offense is totally different without Gronk, and it's a concern. He's had 3 different injuries this year already.
This is the knee, and he wasn't moving around so
No,
great.
it's the back. No, it's the back.
Oh, back now?
Perforated lung, knee,
Gronk.
back.
I'm sorry. I thought you were saying Brady. Yeah.
Brady wasn't moving around that great either. It was clearly one of those games that they just wanted to eke out and win. Whereas your team just seems like we're scoring 30-plus points every game and come get us.
Look, we did a smart thing with Ezekiel Elliott, and I know now I'm going to get shit because I'm not backing Dak enough, but we said we have too many holes in our defense, so why don't we draft a running back could eat up the clock? And it's proven to work. It's like the defense is on the field it was like 2 drives less per game or 1.5 drives per game less, and that's 3 minutes in time. That's huge, and that's how we're beating teams.
I'd like to thank Andrew Luck for for sitting out Thursday night with the concussion protocol because
Right.
I don't know if my wife would have handled 3 straight football games and me just.
Oh, you didn't
on
watch?
Not really.
Yeah.
Scott Tolzien. I've watched Scott Tolzien. Didn't need to really watch that one. It was okay.
He had a couple end zone picks or close to. No, actually weren't. They like went on 4th down, didn't get it. It could have been closer than it
Sure.
was. But
Okay.
Steelers. No, I was glad. I had the Steelers on the teaser.
There's like 12 Scott Tolziens in the league that can
Yeah.
look competent most of the time, but they're still going to have those 3 plays.
You're right.
Unfortunately for Houston, Brock Osweiler's worse than all of those quarterbacks.
Good Lord. What do
What
you
do they
do
do?
with that?
And what do we do with these? I think we should just go through all the games, and as we go through them, hit
Okay.
some of the subplots.
Yeah,
Because,
there's a lot to say on some.
by the
of
way,
these.
you went 3-0 and Cousin Sal Sure Thing on Facebook.
3-0.
Congrats on that.
Thank you.
You needed it.
It's a bipolar season. 0-3 last week, 3-0 this week. But I had the Giants over the Browns. Giants were dying to blow that game.
They really wanted to.
Couldn't do it
They
against
really
the
they
Browns.
couldn't, and it ended up being JPP with a pick 6.
That
He's
was
got
it.
like half of a hand.
Right.
That was unbelievable.
Beckham ran one back and was dancing and the
Yeah.
flag. Isn't that enough of those? Like, 3 out of 4 run backs are called back from a flag. So before you decide to dance, just turn your head and see
Or
if there's
look at
any
the
yellow.
scoreboard, yeah.
Anything. It's
I will say
embarrassing.
this though, and they benched. I watched a lot. For some reason, I was watching a lot of that game because I was going against Eli in fantasy. I had Terrell Pryor,
Yeah.
and it was just a mess, but like in a fun way.
Yeah.
But the kick returner, I can't remember his name. He fumbled for the Giants.
It was rainy, right?
So they brought
Yeah.
in Odell as
Right.
kind of their punt returner. Oh, I mean, if they decide to do that during the playoffs,
Yeah.
like imagine your team playing the Giants in the playoffs and Odell is back there getting punts. That is not fun for anyone.
No, I don't want to play the Giants. And I don't like what they're doing. I don't like what their fans are doing. They're slow playing this, like, oh, we're not that good.
Oh, we stink. Oh, we're going to be
terrible.
5 in 2 weeks.
Eli's bad. They're one play away of winning like a 70-yard bomb to Beckham every game. Like, they're doing. Listen, let's not forget the Giants Super Bowl teams were not great teams. They're
No.
not 15-1 teams. They were just like this, maybe a little worse. And the defense is getting better.
The coaching was a little better on those teams. I am still not
That is
sold
true.
on Ben McAdoo. It's hard for me to imagine him winning the Super Bowl, but I could see them sneaking in. I mean, I could see anyone sneaking in. Your team gave up 500 yards to Kirk
I know.
Cousins.
It's not pretty.
And you're like the prohibitive NFC favorite. Let's talk Broncos Chiefs quickly, and then we'll go to the Week 13
Great game.
lines because there's some great ones. Yeah, that really was. And Collinsworth pretty early was like 9-3. That might be enough. And
Yeah.
I agreed with him watching it. And then all of a sudden we end up at 27-24.
It's why Vegas can't make these over-unders any lower than 40. I think it was
Right.
40, and it ended up in the mid-50s or whatever it was. But, yeah, that game had everything. It
was
really
great.
did. It was like a great playoff game. They had, you know, it was close back and forth. If you had the Chiefs, I felt bad for you because you should have been covering the whole game, and then you needed that goal line call at the end with Tyreek
Well, then you were
Hill.
down 8, and then all of
Right.
a sudden you're going in for the tying touchdown. Then you're down 2. You win the bet, but now the Chiefs are going for 2.
Right.
And now it goes into OT.
Yeah,
It's like, I won the bet already.
You're rooting against the 2, and then Denver has
Right.
the ball. It's like, oh, they can win by 6. Yeah,
It was a great gambling game.
awesome. And the over-under fight. And I didn't know anyone who didn't have like Carlos Santos or someone in fantasy or Emmanuel Sanders. Great, like January type game.
Also had an unbelievable moment when NBC, and I actually thought they handled this very well when they had to talk about Tyreek Hill because he had just been awesome in the game.
Yeah,
and
right.
they clearly in the booth were like, fuck, we got to talk about how he repeatedly punched his pregnant girlfriend and tried
Yeah.
to strangle her. And that's why he was a 5th rounder instead
Yeah,
of a 1st
exactly.
rounder. So let's go to Michelle Tafoya first. And then then Collinsworth and Tarico will very carefully talk about this. And then we'll kind of go back. But Tyreek Hill is amazing. And he is arguably one of the top 5 most despicable guys in the league.
Yeah, sure.
And they didn't really know what to do. They're like, oh, it was first time 3 touchdowns, 3 different ways since Gale Sayers. It's
Right.
like, yeah, but that guy punched his pregnant girlfriend.
Yeah. Miguel Sayers
It's-
like, oh, what? No, not
Gale
me.
Sayers
What
is
did
like,
I do?
really?
Berman was so excited to say Gail Sayers' name. He's like, can we relate this to Gail Sayers somehow?
Gale
can we
Sayers
do
is
it?
his guest today.
I look
Gale
at
Sayers and Mike Dick reunited. We never played together.
Herm Edwards looks like he wants to kill Berman. I'm sorry. Every time he looks over
It's
there,
tough.
he looks at. I could see the producers between segments like, can your sneering is at a 10. Can we bring it down to like a 5 or a 6? Because it's really starting to show. Berman talking about who was he talking about? Someone was running back a kick.
I missed Berman last night.
Ricochet Rabbit. like a 50-year-old cartoon reference, and then followed it up with the Energizer Bunny, the 30-year-old commercial reference. So he's getting better.
That's a good
He's
one.
improving, yeah.
So that Broncos-Chiefs game,
Yeah.
would you have kicked the 62-yarder? That was the big conversation this morning.
I don't get on him. I don't think it's a terrible move. I think he was playing for the division rather than for the wild card. And as Tate points out, now Denver is 7th. They're behind Miami in the wild card. They didn't want to be a game and a half behind Oakland. So he's playing for the win. Punting is like kind of a pussy move. That's like not even an option. The only thing I would have done is I think I'd run on third down, get him closer. Get it to like 58 yards or something.
That
so
was my problem with that series was that the 3 plays leading up to that decision were terrible. Because they're in the 44, first down, they're home.
Right.
Like, come on. Knock it off. Finish it.
Right.
But
run it a little. They go to Michelle Tafoya, I guess. Said, yeah, we talked to, was it Brandon McManus before the game? He said he's good from 60. It's like, well, now this is 62, and it's probably 9 degrees colder than it was when the game started.
I would not have done it.
Yeah.
I know everybody's like, you can't blame him. It's like, it was 38 degrees.
Well,
and it's a
punt?
62-yard field goal.
You punt and take the tie.
I would have punted.
And take the tie.
How many
Yeah.
timeouts did they have?
They had 1, and they called it right before the kick.
I would have punted.
Yeah.
You take the tie. I think.
But then you're a game and a half behind the Raiders.
If I'd rather have that than losing.
I guess so, yeah. I don't kill them for that, though.
I would say a 62-yard field goal in 38-degree weather after having been out there for 4 straight hours with the pressure Sunday night. If it was like they're playing Jacksonville on a Sunday at 1 o'clock and it's
Different.
60, I see it. But
Such a great game. And
I just thought it was too risky.
well, how about that? The game almost went 5 quarters, and Andy Reid didn't screw up at all.
I know.
That's the most spectacular
I thought for sure he was
moment.
going to screw up the 2-point or
Right.
something.
Something, but no.
You know,
he did it.
The field goal kick and the choice and all that stuff kind of obscured the real problem, which was that they're up 8 with 2 minutes left against Alex Smith.
Yeah, it's true.
With the alleged best defense in the league, and he just kind of mowed them down. Mm-hmm. That what did he have? They had to get to the 4-yard line for that first down. It was like 3rd and 13. And
what was
Tyreek
it? It
Hill
was Tyreek
snuck
Hill.
out. He got out of
Yeah.
bounds. Like, how do you give up a 3rd
That
and
was
13
great.
to Alex Smith? He can't throw a
I
pass
think
more than 10 yards.
We do a lot of we kill a lot of quarterbacks and GMs and coaches, but Alex Smith.
You'd like to apologize to Alex Smith?
just for this week, mind that he was awful against Tampa like 8 days ago. So
Yeah.
let's not forget that. But that's a crazy game to not have one mistake. And Alex Smith, he didn't have one, and Simeon was great too.
Simeon
these
was-
guys didn't. Those bone crunching hits every play. Do you feel like the Raiders? Everyone's having the Raiders run around away with this division. I thought those two teams they have like some grit that the Raiders don't have.
I think both of those teams are better than the Raiders.
Yeah.
And in fact, I have the odds for that division for you.
Let's see it.
Oakland plus 110. They're 9-2. KC plus 140. They're 8-3. And then Denver is plus 550.
Wow.
So Oakland has home for Buffalo, at Kansas City on a Thursday night. That's brutal.
And already lost to Kansas City.
At San Diego, home for Indy, at Denver. And they literally could lose 3 of those.
Yeah.
I would say in 3 of those, they're not going to be favored.
Right.
So then you have KC at Atlanta this week, Oakland Thursday night, home for Tennessee, home for Denver Sunday night, at San Diego. That feels like 3-2. Mm-hmm. Then Denver at Jacksonville, at Tennessee.
But then
Win-win.
the last 3 are tough.
Home for New England, where we lose there a lot.
Yeah.
That's been probably Brady's least favorite stadium.
That's a tough one.
At Kansas City on a Sunday night, home for Oakland.
It's amazing how
That
it
could be
ends all
4-1. Like that could be. They could end up at 11-5.
Well, let's see. Yeah.
Oakland could end up at 11-5. And if KC goes 3-2, they end up at 11-5. And then it comes down to some crazy tiebreaker thing, which I think would be bad for Denver.
I think it would be bad, yes, because they're 1-3.
Because they've already lost to KC and they lost to Oakland.
Right. And KC,
And they have some games
KC
left already.
beat Oakland and beat Denver now.
So
Yeah,
confusing.
It's
So
gonna be
Denver
good.
basically, they have to run the table, I think, to win the division. But I think they're going to make the playoffs.
That's why
anyway.
they're 4-1. You said 5-1?
They're plus 550.
Wow.
At gunpoint, I think I would bet on KC because I'm not sold on Atlanta.
I think KC's the best team. Atlanta.
They basically have to win in Atlanta this week
Oh, I see. Yeah.
to realistically win this division. I think they're better than Atlanta.
Here's what's interesting with this week. 7 teams, by my estimation, are traveling over 2,000 miles.
Is that true?
And that
I
means-
love that you look at
I'm
that
all
shit.
over it. But it's gonna kill us. I'm gonna convince you to do some kind of dumb teaser that, But we'll see.
Well, we should mention it is now week 13, and we're going to hit the lines in a second.
Yeah.
But this is when it gets cold,
Right.
and this is when football changes, and everybody forgets this. That
This is when
you're not having the
kickers-
500-yard passing days anymore.
Right. Yeah, you might see some missed extra points now and then. It's going to be a very different game.
Guskowski. He was
What
like one
was
of
that?
the only reliable things in my life.
That's why I think you were toying with that team, the Jets.
What do you mean?
I just felt like you were toying, like, well, we'll miss a field goal. Gronk, you come in for a series and sit out. Let's just have fun.
I was scared of Fitzpatrick when we didn't get the 2-point. We get the 2-point, and then they rule, and they like a ruling I've never seen in my life, where the guy's whole body is in bounds, but he stepped out of bounds in the end zone, but the ball wasn't totally over yet, and
I
it
don't think
made
we'll-
sense. But I've just never
I know.
seen it.
I don't think we'll ever see that angle again, where the
Yeah.
player's coming straight at
It's
you.
like, God forbid he just reached out with James White.
It's like you have to be very athletic to not score in that play.
So we're down 5 with no pass rush against Fitzpatrick, who stinks against every other team but the Patriots.
Yeah.
And I was concerned. I had financial reasons to be concerned. I was concerned because it was my team. And then Chris Long out of nowhere.
Great
A
play.
defensive lineman actually makes a play in the Patriots, but we have no pass rush.
Yeah.
And our defense isn't very good.
You
It's
wouldn't-
just not. It's not a very good defense.
You don't want to play either of those teams we saw.
I don't think the Patriots are. Ugh.
But they'd
And
have
that
trouble. Like Brady would scramble all night against either of those two teams last night, and
would be trouble.
You know.
I think we're gonna look back at that KC Denver game and maybe think that we didn't learn or we didn't glean enough from it because it was so well played. I mean, we've seen so many
Yeah, it
shitty
really
games
was.
this year. That game, Dallas Washington, was super entertaining. I wouldn't call it like a football classic. It was just fun. It was good offensive football, but that game was like well played. That
You
was like
weren't
an old
nervous
school football game.
for everyone's well-being before every play. Like it was bone crunching. It was
Oh,
great.
yeah.
It was really great.
It reminded me of those old Pittsburgh-Baltimore games
Yeah.
from 5-6 years ago. Where
Yeah.
It's amazing. Nobody got a concussion, I don't think, yesterday.
Right? I don't think so.
The protocol people were bummed. They were ready. They had their
Maybe
flashlights.
Kubiak had one before the last goal. I don't know.
I wonder if they go into overtime, if he had anybody working for him laying out all the scenarios. Like, Gary, we can't have a tie. You got to go for the win. If
Oh,
this
interesting. Yeah.
Because that tie really was bad.
I know
for
he
them.
went to D. Camillus, the special teams coach, but it is strange because you're going to go up to your kicker and McManus is going to say, "Yeah, coach, I'll make it from any distance," but he was only making it from 60. And
What's he going to say? Like,
Yeah.
Coach, don't do this.
He can't say
I
anything
can't
else.
make it.
What is was 64? Do you punt? It's 63. I just wonder what number in his head he had it where he was going to punt.
The 38 degrees has to factor into it.
Sure. Yeah.
Even though the NFL would not have you believe in the ideal gas law, it has to. You have to factor it in. Quickly, let's talk about youth sports.
Oh yeah.
Youth sports matter. Student athletes 4 times more likely to attend college and 11% more likely to graduate compared to non-athletes. Physically active kids also have up to 40% higher test scores. They're 50% less absent, despite the $3.5 billion that have been cut from school sports budgets in recent years. And that especially affects low-income families, which are 4 times more likely to decrease participation in sports due to cost. So programs across the country are losing funding at an unbelievable rate. You can even see it here in LA. If they need your help, join us in the quest to get green laces on sneakers across the country and help save youth sports. Purchase a pair of Sports Matter green shoelaces at Dick's Sporting Goods, and $2 off your purchase will help underfunded youth sports. Go to sportsmatter.org to learn more. Swap out your laces. Help save youth sports. Thanks to Dick's Sporting Goods.
It's gonna sound controversial, but youth sports is more important than education. I'm not even kidding. It really is. It is. You join a wrestling team or any team, it teaches you competitiveness, how to play fair, team spirit, how to work as a team. You're learning obtuse angles, crap you're never going to take into the future. You might get burned by a Bunsen burner. It's safer. Put all your money into youth sports.
You know, I agree.
Yeah.
I think especially you don't have any girls. I think it's phenomenal for girls. I
Sure.
think to be on a team, to learn how to lose every once in a while, all that stuff is like really super valuable. I'm glad my daughter loves playing sports. I
There
think
you
it's
go.
good. I mean, you know, am I envious of the kids who can just bang out 7 hours of homework a night like they're doing nothing? Sure. My kid takes 5 hours to write a short story, but
Yeah.
I mean, every kid's different.
Yeah, exactly.
Gravitate to what your kids like is the one thing I've learned as a parent.
Yes.
And one of the reasons my son will be living at home till he's 40. All right. Week 13 Lions. And we have a great Thursday night football game compared to what the other games have been. This isn't a great game, but it's at least there are stakes, and at least the Cowboys are involved. The Cowboys are a ratings machine.
They are.
They've
This is
single-handedly
big.
staved off the ratings crisis.
This is big. I think their ratings are way up since the election, like the
Way
three
up.
biggest games. But
The 35 million for Thanksgiving, the Sunday
Right.
nights have been up. I
And
don't
then
think the
Dallas-Pittsburgh
overall
was big,
ratings
too.
are
Is that right?
but I
They're
think
not?
like the signature games, the ratings are really good. So I have Cowboys +4 at Minnesota.
let me find your lines because you send it to me like as I'm walking up here.
Well, I have they're all here.
All right. Well, I had 4 also, and it is exactly 4.
Okay.
I mean, I send you my lines at like halftime of the Sunday night game.
I like to read stuff and make sure nobody got hurt.
You like to read
you
your
just jumped
Twitter
the gun.
and say, "What do you think, Bill? The Patriots are given 13
No,
and a
I do
half."
not read.
And that's
do
what
not
you're
read the
reading.
Twitter. I stay away from all that stuff.
I don't think the Vikings can score enough to win this game.
Sam Bradford, first of all, the fact that they didn't win that Thanksgiving game was kind of amazing, but at the same time not amazing because you knew how it was going to play out if you'd watched the Lions all
Right.
year. But Sam Bradford, I've just never seen anything like it with the checkdowns.
You remind me
Alex
of,
Smith will at least go deep every once in a while. Sam Bradford's like, I'm just throwing 4 yards every time.
No.
I don't care if it's 3rd and 8.
No, it's not even the tight end over the middle. It's not even Rudolph. It's a little 3-yard out. Yeah, and it doesn't matter. I mean, he set a record for 2-yard passes, I thought.
But maybe one of the reasons he does that is because when he tries to throw it longer than that, something bad happens, like the Lions get in the pick. But the one time you don't want him to do something dumb is the time he did something dumb.
Yeah, exactly.
3rd and 7, after the whole game of just being carefully sucking the life out of his team with like
Right.
low risk. And then all of a sudden,
They have to win one of those games. I like Coach Zimmer, maybe a tiny bit overrated at this point, to not win one of those Lions games. He lost one in overtime. The Lions drove on them like a month ago, went down the field in like no time, kicked the field, and then this one, like they just had it. I don't know what to make of this Lions team either.
I totally support your Mike Zimmer little dig there, and
Yeah.
I'd also like to throw some heat at Bruce Arians because that Cardinals team, which I watched a lot of the last 2 weeks, super sloppy. They seem like they don't practice. Anyone out there who's watched the Cardinals, how many times has Palmer thrown to somebody who went the other way and they're like, oh, miscommunication.
Yeah.
He's not on the same page with blank. He's not on the same page with any receiver he has.
Right.
They have these dumb penalties. They're like the master of the 2nd and 9 holding penalty to bring back the 25-yard play.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think that's the sloppiest team in the league. They're built like those old Raiders teams that would just shoot themselves in the foot all the time. That's what that Cardinals team does.
And they also have no fight in them in the second half.
They
Which is
totally
weird.
rolled over in the Atlanta game. They're a mess. Palmer looks like he doesn't want to be there. Fitz.
Yeah.
Fitz. Yeah, I thought yesterday was going to be the Fitz game. Like I put Fitz in my DraftKings lineup yesterday. I thought that was one of those Fitz games.
Right.
Who just gets like 12 catches for 180 yards. He's like, I'm not letting our season end.
Right, yeah.
And they barely went to him.
You thought that with them and the Panthers, it was the same thing.
And this David Johnson, everybody was ready to anoint him as the next guy. Now they started stacking the line and just blitzing every time. And
Well, but I think he had like almost 100 yards receiving, right? Or
he
something?
did. They had to like keep
Yeah.
rolling him out in the passing thing. There's no lanes for him.
I don't know what it is with that team. Is this
I-
our Don Julio shot game?
No,
Or
we have to pick either tonight's game or the Thursday.
Right.
So what's tonight?
So tonight is Green Bay -4 over Philly. We won it last week, right? Didn't we both have the Raiders over
We've won
Houston?
almost every week.
We were lucky to have that. That was a miraculous win for the Raiders last week.
It's fine. I
Really?
don't look at miraculous. I just look at did we win the bet or
Did you
not?
look at
We
the
won.
two
We
terrible
won.
spots?
They covered. We won.
No, I know, but the Hopkins
I don't look
touchdown.
back. Just what were the results? We
I didn't
won.
feel good about that one, but okay.
I felt great.
All right. So
I
what do
think
we
we're
want
like
to do?
I think we're like 8-3 with the Don Julio
Oh,
shot of
not
the
me.
week.
You are. I'm the other way, I think. Yeah.
Don Julio, the world's original handcrafted tequila, multiple unique tequilas, including Don Julio, 1942, the best luxury tequila you will ever drink. So, I would rather go with your boys on Thursday than either of the teams tonight. But I'll defer to you. You've been hotter than me.
Well, I feel like I'm going to jinx the Cowboys because I'm finally on board big time with, they're going to win. They're going to cover. Minnesota stinks.
Can I just do simple math for you?
Yeah, go ahead.
How many points can the Vikings score in that game?
I know.
It's actually the perfect team for you to play because you can throw on the Cowboys, and yet the Vikings can't throw.
Right.
So what are they going to do? And then on the other side, you should be able to get to 28 points as always.
I'll take the Cowboys with you, but I'm going to tell you who I would have taken. I just never would have convinced you to jump on this. Green Bay tonight.
Over Philly because Wentz isn't playing well?
It's our only chance to win this Detroit bet. Detroit not making the playoffs.
I think Green Bay's terrible.
No, I know. I agree, but it's our only chance. Let's take that. We'll take Dallas for the Don Julio shot.
You could have talked me into Philly because I think that Philly line is like 3 points wrong. It's just, it's all Aaron Rodgers and the fact that he's in commercials and the fact that he's had success in the past and has no correlation with anything that has actually happened in the league this season.
You think so?
Philly is a well-rounded team that's played a really tough schedule that has hung in every game. Mm-hmm. And why should I think Green Bay is going to beat them by 7?
By 7?
What do you mean? 4 is like, once you're up by 4, it's like you're not going to win by 5 or 6. Like you're going to.
Philly's favored.
Philly's favored.
Yeah.
Philly's favored?
Yeah.
The
home.
game's in Philly.
Yeah, it's in Philly.
Oh, I screwed up. Wait, so we could have Philly -4.
Yeah. Well, you just liked them at +4, but we passed on them. No, I don't. Here's my
I thought
thing.
I liked them at +4 in Green Bay. I forgot it was in Philly.
Here's what I think. Green Bay.
Let's stay away.
All right. Well, we'll stick with Dallas. But I think if Green Bay goes up 7-0, then you're like, oh my God, it's Carson Wentz, it's Darren Sproles, and Matthews. That's what I.
Did you see what their inside linebacker situation is though?
Green Bay. Yeah.
It's a disaster.
I know.
This could be like the Darren Sproles Zach Ertz show
Yeah,
today.
maybe it is. It's a good stay away.
Well, don't listen to me because I thought the game was in Green Bay.
Well, we're going Dallas.
We're going Dallas.
Here's
I
Sunday.
think your team wins 30-13.
I'll take it. But can I just mention, I'm getting a lot of crap for the Dak Prescott. I'm not behind him because I'm a Romo guy. Someone mentioned to me, you and Joe House laughed at me when we did our preseason pod, and I said the Rams would love to get that first pick over. They would take Dak Prescott over Goff, and you will. Let's hear a little of you laughing. Ha 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 ha! Cousin Sal, so funny. You should have your own HBO comedy special with that kind of logic. That's what you said.
That's what I said.
And you know the Rams would go for that now. Dak Prescott.
It was absurd when you said it. Dak Prescott had
I say a ton of absurd
practice. Now I have Dak Prescott as the MVP.
I know you do.
I got in a big argument with Kevin Clark and Mays about it this week on texting. Good-natured argument, but I just think the Dak MVP case has to come down to he's the backup quarterback. Mm-hmm. So he comes in to replace the starter, and he goes 10-1. I have to compare him to whatever situation that would have been with any other backup quarterback. Scott Tolzien comes in for Andrew Luck, and they lose by 21. Dak comes in for Romo, and the team got better.
I understand.
That has to factor into it.
I understand.
No other team other than maybe Garoppolo could have had a backup come in and hold the fort like that.
Right.
It's his job.
Let me ask you this.
He's most valuable.
As lucky as Cowboys were to get him, he's very lucky too. All the teams that passed on him. He's definitely not 10-1 with the Browns, right?
No.
He's not even playing if the Raiders draft him instead of Connor Cook. He doesn't even see the field.
No.
Same thing with Denver. I don't even think he sees the field. He doesn't have 11 games.
It would have been a nice battle between him and
Yeah,
Simeon.
he wouldn't play 11 games, though, I don't think.
No.
And,
who else passed
the
on?
Rams, he's not going to be 10-1. Maybe the Eagles. He's 10-1. It's tough. But Brady is 3-1 MVP. Prescott and Elliott, 4-1. And Matt Ryan, 4-1.
People love Dak Prescott.
Oh, I know.
When he threw that cup and it didn't go in the garbage and
I
he went
know.
to get it, people were like, what a good guy.
And if
he
you,
picks up garbage.
If you don't think that was a publicity stunt.
It's Dak's like, are the cameras on? I'm going to miss this. I still think Romo is heard from. Maybe this game. Maybe Thursday night. Dak sprains an ankle or something.
I hate to root for an injury.
Here comes Romo.
How about this for an MVP? Dan Bailey for the Cowboys. One of 3 starting kickers who hasn't missed an extra point. That seems to be more important than anything these days.
Justin Tucker's getting some MVP consideration too.
Yeah. All right, Sunday.
So
2 teams on byes. Tennessee, 6-6. They were 3-3, 4-4, 5-5, and now they're 6-6 because they can't win 2 in a row. And Cleveland, they deserve a break, 0-12. And something else to mention: no division games this week.
Oh,
very strange.
AFC South, Houston -120 with a quarterback who's basically. I mean, he might get replaced by Tom Savage this week. I didn't even know Tom Savage was on the Texans till Lombardi mentioned this a month
12
ago.
touchdowns, 13 interceptions for Osweiler.
And is running around like he has prosthetic legs or something.
Yeah.
Like he has no mobility at all.
I think he was better when they had the laser pointer in his eyes Monday night. He
Might have
actually-
been. It made him
inspired
concentrate more.
Yeah.
I got to say, like, I'm going to admit defeat on this. I thought Osweiler was going to be. I thought that was a good move by Houston, but I was basically basing that on that one Sunday night game he played well against the Pats.
Right.
Just missed. Just wrong.
Why wouldn't this guy be good?
That's why I'm not an
Hopkins
NFL
and
GM.
Fuller.
So
Yeah.
Houston's minus 120. Tennessee's plus 180. Indy is lurking at plus 500. Mm-hmm. And it feels like 8-8 is going to win that division. Mike Sando wrote that today on ESPN. I think I agree with him. I think that there's an 8-8 division winner lurking.
And that's
in
all
that.
tiebreakers, too.
That'd be all
when it comes down to-
tiebreakers. And Luck has beaten Tennessee twice. He'll beat Houston once, and they'll get the tiebreaker.
He did beat Tennessee, too. Yeah.
He did.
You want Tennessee in there because they're the most exciting of the teams, right?
I
Mariota's
guess. I mean,
playing well.
their defensive
I
backs
know,
are atrocious.
I know. That for them to let the Bears back in like
The
that.
Colts lost to. Oh, the Texans beat the Colts. But the Colts have beaten the Titans twice.
They
Right.
have to play them on the road. They have to go to the Colts.
Yeah, they have to.
Texans go to the Colts.
Houston plays at Indy the week after this.
Yeah.
So
Who knows? I don't trust any of those teams.
I'll tell you when I trust them is when we're betting against them in round one.
That's when we have to do it.
That's going to be fantastic.
Who's the 5?
It could be KC at Indy.
KC
I feel like
or
we've
Oakland. at
won
Indy.
money the
Yeah.
other way in that game. Didn't we have that was one of our best bets,
KC
right?
killed him, right?
No, didn't we have the big luck comeback?
Oh,
the
right,
game
right,
Jamal
right.
Charles got the concussion.
Right. But who did Kansas City beat by like 40 last year? They went on the road.
That
Was
might have been
Houston?
Indy.
No, Indy didn't make the playoffs. It was Houston, right?
Oh yeah. It was Houston.
Yeah. All right. Sunday, Miami at Baltimore.
Okay, I have the Ravens by 3. Color me in the group of people not exactly buying this Dolphins team.
All right.
All due respect.
I had 4 and it's 3.5, so we're gonna split that one.
Hey, do you think? Would you believe me if I told you I waived Devontae Parker like 3 weeks ago, right before he became one of the
Really?
best young receivers? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's been that kind of year for
I
me.
believe you. You were riding high. You were on fire, and then you lost this week, right?
The bottom line is I spent $50 on Gronk and he's played 4 games.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
You're not
killing me
winning.
in another league.
I have
too.
Ezekiel Elliott, Russell Wilson, Gronk, Doug Baldwin, Terrell Pryor. My
Yeah.
team's really good, and
You blame it on Tate. He was right next to you. He was advising you
he
the
was
whole
just
time.
concentrating on chicken, eating chicken.
He wasn't concentrating on updating our pool. That's for sure.
It's really a shame.
I was thinking of I trust so and so around the pool more than Tate, but it got sketchy.
I mean, Brad would have done a better job.
I'm in swimming pool. I was trying to.
Oh.
But no, I didn't even. The examples were bad.
Okay.
But Dolphins won 6 in a row. They had 3 linemen out. I don't trust them either. Those linemen better get healthy quickly.
I switched my pick on in our pool to the Niners at the last minute when I
Yeah.
saw those 3 linemen out. I mean,
Right.
that was like a massacre.
Right.
They basically lost their 3 most important linemen. I was amazed the Niners even.
I know. That's one that Tannehill's usually down on his back 12 times. But 3 of the last 5 are on the road.
Yeah,
At Baltimore, Arizona, at Jets, at Buffalo, and then, like we said, New England, the game might not matter.
Yeah, I think the game's going to matter because I think we lose to Denver in Week 15, and we're going to need Week 17 for the round one for the 1 seed. I think that game will matter.
All right, there you go. San Francisco at Chicago.
Oh God, I thought Kaepernick was fun yesterday.
Yeah, he was.
I think he's like 90% back to looking like Kaepernick.
He hasn't given up on the 1-10 team. That's for sure. I'll say
It's
that.
not like he has a great supporting cast, but I thought
As far as betting goes, I'd rather bet San Francisco, Chicago, any of these teams more than like the Jaguars, Cardinals, all these teams that kill us every week.
well the Niners are on a really rare streak right now.
What is it?
3 straight weeks where they've won. Or I'm sorry, 3 straight weeks where they've lost, but they covered.
Interesting.
They
It's not
lost
easy.
by 3 to the Cards.
I had that one. Yeah.
They lost by 13 to the Pats.
That was close, depending on when you.
Yeah,
got
I
it.
guess that depended on which
Right.
way. And then yesterday with the Dolphins, they
Yeah.
covered that one too.
Well, what are they? What do you think for this one? And then see your number.
For which one?
At
The
Chicago.
Niners. Bears by 3.
Now you're gonna get it. I said 3.5, and it is 3.
I have to say something that I don't think anyone else will say in a podcast today because it's so relevant. I'm almost ashamed to say it. I thought Matt Barkley looked pretty good in that game.
I was just going to ask you.
I saw enough of that game because I like Tennessee, and I was just kind of was flipping around. And, you know, it was like a record. They had 10 drops.
12.
12?
Oh, 10. I'm sorry. You're right. 10
Including
drops.
the
10
game-winning touchdown twice.
Right there.
On the last drive, they dropped 2 different game-winning touchdowns. I don't think people realize how stupid it was that the Titans won that game.
Yeah.
But Matt Barkley looked good.
I mean, a lot of it was maybe garbage time. Tennessee didn't care, but
I guess. Tennessee's got a terrible secondary. I don't want to say, like, I'm in on Matt Barkley, but I think if he plays well against the Niners, which he should, there might be a little Matt Barkley momentum.
Well, let me ask you this. I was going to ask you this way. You're starting a team next year. You have to use one of these 5 current quarterbacks who played for USC.
I like this.
For USC.
For USC. Matt Leinart.
Well, he's not.
Okay.
He's
I'm not picking him.
Don't pick Leinart. Kessler.
Okay.
Sanchez.
Yeah.
Castle. Palmer or Barkley.
Carson Palmer?
Carson Palmer.
Oh, definitely Matt Barkley. He's by far the best of those 5.
It's so crazy. I agree with you, but it's based on 2 drives.
Thought he looked good. He was throwing BBs.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, Bears
too.
fan. I think you have a QB. What is, because the Bears fans, none of them like Cutler. What's the best way for them to get rid of Cutler?
Oh, man. I don't know.
What would be the most vicious way they could do it?
Maybe they could dig up audio of him on a bus with Billy Bush. Oh, no, that doesn't work. No, that's okay. That doesn't
But
work.
they should get rid of him before the end of the season, right? Like send him packing after week 15.
Yeah, and
Just
let me
go.
say something,
Stick a
Bears
hike, Jay
fans.
Cutler.
Take a page out of the Lions. Like, I think any team in 2017 can win the division except for the Browns. I really do. Because look at the Lions. They were 3 injuries
The Lions
away.
are terrible.
They're 3 injuries
They're
away
awful.
from winning the division, and it was Adrian Peterson, it was Eddie Lacy, and it was Clay Matthews. And then now they're going to win the division because they had a 3rd place schedule. They're probably like 25-1 to win the division. Bears, you're in it.
I will say, as bad as the Lions are, they do have a confidence in the last 10 minutes of these games. Like, they've done it so many times now, they think they're going to pull it out.
Right.
I think the Lions fans should be really proud because normally they just have terrible luck, and this time they have no running game whatsoever.
No.
They just have theoretic on screen passes.
No, it's bizarre how they're doing this.
It's unbelievable, and I don't understand how their defense is holding anyone under 20 points.
Well, let's go to their game because I don't think they're going to hold this offense under 20 points. Detroit at New Orleans.
Saints by 4.5.
I was way off on this. You're right. It's 5, and I said 1.5. So you're going to get that one.
That was a phenomenal subplot in the Saints-Rams game yesterday. I didn't realize there was bad blood with Greg Williams.
Right.
They ran a wide receiver option pass. They were up 14 in the 4th quarter.
I was like,
it was one of the best fuck you moments in a long time.
They were up 21. They were up 42-21.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, they ran a wide
won.
receiver option pass. I'm 21.
I was like, wow, you're really not hiding a trick play here that you could use maybe down the road.
Was there a handshake or there wasn't?
I didn't see it.
There probably wasn't,
I don't know. But the Saints seem like they're having fun. I'm going to miss them in the playoffs this year because they sling it. Breeze.
Are we sure they're not going to make the playoffs?
Well, I don't. I think they could outscore every one of the teams they played. Detroit, at Tampa Bay, at Arizona, Tampa Bay again, and at Atlanta. They'll probably stumble once or twice and end up 9-7 or 8-8. But
I don't know why I didn't bet on Tampa yesterday. That was my favorite game.
Yeah.
I was so scared of the slate this week because I didn't know whether it was. The whole thing felt wonky to me.
Well, yeah.
And then after all the favorites ended up pulling it out in the early games, I stayed away from Tampa. But I don't know, man.
8 favorites won early on, and then I said, I have guys I'm watching. They're like, "Do you like Seattle, New England teaser for the afternoon?" I said, "No, I do not. Vegas is going to make someone pay here." And
8 favorites won the early games, but really 4 of them could have lost in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah,
it
if
was
you had
really
Tennessee
stupid.
on a 2-team teaser, you were lucky.
It was a much stranger game than the actual outcome, or than the actual outcomes. But this Tampa team, they've played Atlanta, they played the Broncos, they played the Panthers, They played the Raiders. They played the Falcons, the Chiefs, the Seahawks. Like they're pretty seasoned now against good
They had
competition.
3 wins against playoff teams: Atlanta, KC, and Seattle.
Their defense dominated that Seahawks game.
Really good.
The Seahawks couldn't do anything.
And let me say this: yeah, they run the ball. Doug Martin's back. Mike Evans, top 3 wide receivers in the
Yeah,
league.
he's
I think,
been-
right now, right? Like I think maybe Julio's bumped now.
The
I don't know.
Now Hopkins is definitely bumped.
Oh yeah, but
The last 2 years with Evans, he was open and he would just drop them. Remember,
Yeah.
he would always drop these big. This year, he's making all the catches in traffic, and he's physically imposing.
he's a monster. You can't
Yeah.
you can't cover him. 10 touchdowns, 1,020 yards.
Can you remember a wide
Spectacular.
receiver taking it to the Seahawks secondary like that from a physical standpoint? I
No.
felt like he dominated them a little bit physically.
Yeah, probably.
Quick break. Talk about Simply Safe. This is big. If you want to protect your home this winter, take a seat, take a breath, listen up. Right now, Simply Safe Home Security having its biggest deal ever. Protect your home, save big, get $200 off their exclusive holiday package. $200. I repeat, with Simply Safe, you don't have to worry about burglars casing your house. You don't have to worry about weird noises at 3 a.m. Simply Safe protects your family with 24/7 professional security monitoring and enough sensors to defend your entire home for just $15 a month. That's less than half of what the other guys charge, by the way. And by having it, you can save up to 20% on your home insurance, too. Try Simply Safe right now. Get your $200 off today
Nice.
at simplysafebs.com. Go now. This sale ends very soon. That's Simply Safe with 2 I's. Once again, that is simplysafebs.com. $200 off.
You could take the $200 you save, put it right on your porch, and no one will take it because you have Simply Safe.
You
yeah.
put it in the window.
Yeah, spread it out. No one's gonna.
I thought you were gonna say put it on the Bears -3.
Yeah, you could do
against
that,
the 49ers. Matt Barkley, the best USC quarterback right now.
Oh, poor USC. All right, Houston at Green Bay.
I have a quick tangent about the Michigan OSU
Yeah.
game because I watched the second half and the overtime. We have to come up with a word. People are like, epic, classic. That game was terrible. That game was
That's a good
horribly
word.
played.
That's a good word.
It was dramatic.
Right.
It was really, really awesomely dramatic. It was everything you want from a game like that.
Michigan
it was
blew it.
horribly
Yeah.
played. So we need a word that's like horribly played but super dramatic. And
All
I don't
right.
know what that word is.
Let's
feel
think
free
about
to tweet us.
Okay.
Sal
how about,
checked. Sal likes checks his Twitter
horrible,
replies.
but
Horrible but dramatic.
All right, what
It was
about-
like compelling.
Well, what
Maybe
do they call?
compelling is
What
the
do
word.
they call Skip and Shannon show?
Compelling.
All right, that's what it is. By the way, I think there's a lot of talk about putting a chip in the ball to measure the first down and everything.
Yeah, that
because
makes too much
everybody's
sense.
Like, have Skip and Shannon decide. They can't decide on anything. Just have them argue until, it's delightful.
They're going to decide on something.
They'll
though.
figure it out.
They'll figure out
Yeah.
something.
All right,
It's
Houston.
the hottest seat in sports right
It
now.
really is. Houston at Green Bay.
Houston at Green Bay. I hate this one because Green Bay season might be over after tonight.
Yeah.
It might be done. Mm-hmm. Houston season, even though they're the favorite to win the AFC South, is also done. It's over.
Yeah.
I have the Packers by 3.5 at Green Bay.
It went a little light. I said 4.5, and I got it. It is 4.5.
That's ludicrous. The Packers are awful.
Well-
When does Sam Shields come back? Is he back this week? Is he
I
back
didn't
tonight?
say. Is it this week? I wasn't sure. If
When
he
their
was playing.
defense is healthy, they are worth a reevaluation.
Yeah.
But they cannot run the ball. And it's another team where the quarterback doesn't seem to be on the same page with the receivers most of the time.
Right.
He's on IR.
Same. I thought
Yeah,
he
I
was
don't think
coming
he's-
back one of these weeks though.
They put him on IR.
He's gone for the year.
Yeah.
Sam Shields is gone for the year.
And Eddie Lacy. Fat Eddie and Sam Shields.
Oh, Fat Eddie. Now we have Fat Rob.
It's rough.
Fat Rob, who could have done a little more on Thanksgiving. I think
Who?
his
Oh,
mind was
Kelly?
on.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
his mind was on the food after the game.
R.
Fat
Kelly?
Rob was disappointing. Let me down.
700 yards, and he didn't
I lost
count
to
for
Eli
anything.
Manning in the Saints defense.
All right. Kansas City at Atlanta.
Oh,
This is,
birds.
what do you think?
Falcons with 2 straight weeks playing birds. I have the Falcons by 3.5. I think I hit it exactly.
Almost. I said 3. It is 4, so you're closer. You're going to get that one. I don't know. Is this a letdown game for the Chiefs?
No, I think the Chiefs are really good and they have to win this game.
Yeah.
I am. Has Atlanta beaten a team that we should be super impressed by? Let's see.
They lost to Tampa.
They beat the Raiders 35-28. That's
yeah,
good.
that was a good win.
They beat the Saints. Not bad. They beat Denver. Yeah, they have good wins.
They score.
I'm an idiot.
They score. They come, they finish off games well.
Last
say
6
that.
weeks, 24, 30, 33, 43, 15 against the Eagles,
Yeah.
and 38 against the Cardinals. See, the reason I think they should be concerned about this game is the Eagles legitimately beat them. They're more physical, better on defense, better special teams, all that stuff, which is kind of what the Chiefs are like.
Right.
So I think the dangerous game for them.
I just worry about the letdown and the travel, but you could be right. Rams at Patriots.
I see the letdown if like the Chiefs were playing the Jaguars. Mm-hmm. I don't. Why would they let down against the Falcons? Like they have to win.
I guess so. I mean, Denver plays the Jaguars, so that might fit into your description there.
Tyreek Hill might be let down after the 10 terrible pieces that are going to be written
Oh,
about him
man.
this week about what kind of guy he is.
Not good.
So the big spotlight's going to be on that.
Tyreek is the new Henry Hill. Got Rams and Patriots.
I had to get
I'm
that
just
one. It
trying
took
to
a
think.
second.
Maybe they're related. Rams at Patriots.
Rams at Patriots. I have the Patriots by 13. That might be too low.
I said 13 also. It is slightly low. 13 and a half.
Okay.
Now let me ask you this.
Is Jared Goff good? I don't know. I have no idea. He had 3 touchdowns.
He was fine. He was
Okay.
for game number 2. He was fine. But let's say one of your good friends came to you and was willing to empty out his kid's junior college fund, and wanted to put it on a money line parlay with Alabama and the Patriots. Would you say you're good? I don't know about anything about Alabama. You're good with my Patriots
win the title?
No, just this week. Just this week to win. Is there any letdown potential in this game?
I don't know enough about Alabama. The Patriots will not lose to the Rams.
They
at
won't
home.
lose.
No.
All right, let's keep in mind, though. Week 13 last year, and we were all over it. The Patriots lost at home to the Eagles. Remember that?
Dirty secret about the Rams.
The Eagles were also 4-7 going into that game.
Dirty secret about the Rams, though.
Yeah.
Defense isn't that good. They gave
Yeah.
up 32 to the Bucks. They gave up 30 to the Rams. They gave up 31 to the Lions. They gave up 49 to the Saints. Their defense is good when they play shitty offenses.
Well, they played Seattle. They gave up nothing.
They played Seattle in week 2 when Wilson was hurt and the offensive line, all that stuff.
Played the Panthers. That team scores. No, I know what you're saying.
I think you can move the ball on them, and,
All right.
and it seems like they quit when things aren't going that well.
All right. Sorry, kids. I'm doing it.
Okay.
That was me. Detroit. Did we do Detroit and New Orleans already? We did. Philly at Cincinnati.
Speaking of teams that quit, it's Cincinnati.
Oh, boy.
I have the Eagles favored in Cincinnati by 1 point.
You're going to get this. Wow. I said by 3, and it's 2. Oh, no, we split
we
it.
split that
We'll
one.
split that. Let's go Dutch on that one.
The Bengals, there was about an hour in that Ravens game yesterday when it really seemed like Perfect Strangers was
Perfect
going to
Strangers.
commit one of the most heinous offenses that have ever been committed on a football field. Like I was thinking like there's a 3-year suspension lurking for
Yeah.
him because Steve Smith, there was just something ready to happen, but
Right.
it never happened, thank God.
Yeah.
But I
Almost
do think
an
Perfect
explosion.
is. Would you give me even odds for him to get kicked out of the league before the end of the
What
season
would he
for
have
the
to
rest of the
do?
year?
It was, I mean, like,
There's 6 games left, 5 games left. He's on a losing team. I just don't think he makes it through the season.
yeah.
I think he's going to do something terrible. He
Interesting.
can't control himself.
That's interesting. I'd love to see odds like that on something. I'll give you even odds.
Even odds.
Yeah, why not?
I would take the
Fun.
even odds.
I mean, one of us has to win this bet. It seems crazy.
I think we should both win. We should find a third party to bet against.
Speaking of Perfect Strangers, there's a new movie out. I don't know if you saw this.
What is it?
It's about Mike Nugent,
yeah.
the Bengals kicker. He's missed 3 PATs in a row.
Yeah.
And the story goes they cut him free. They banish him from the league. The Bengals have nothing to do with him. He becomes an FBI agent, and he goes undercover.
Is this
actually.
on Hulu?
It is on Hulu. I don't know where it is. You actually can't find it anywhere because it doesn't exist.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest with you this time. But he goes undercover to catch a group of surfers who may also be bank robbers.
Oh.
And he does, in fact, prove that they're bank robbers. He ends up kicking in their surfboards. He doesn't get it the first time, but after like 10 kicks, and it's called the extra point break. That's what it is. And Patrick Swayze actually
You
comes
made
back
Joe
from the
laugh.
dead.
Patrick Swayze goes back from the dead.
Joe, that's one where Joe wanted me like a foot and a half from the mic there.
It's on Crackle.
That's on Crackle. Yeah. Reeves, Busey's in it. It's great. After Point Break.
The Gilmore Girls are back.
They are?
Was your family around this week to watch Gilmore Girls?
No. Was that on Netflix or something? All
Yeah,
right.
it's a Netflix. It was a big like Netflix midnight Thanksgiving release.
Oh, wow.
Of the 4 extra Gilmore Girls thing, and
I didn't
I
know
know
that.
way too many people who are.
Were you
very
watching
excited.
it? You
No.
watched it.
We're not the audience for the Gilmore
You've
Girls.
spoken too
It's
much
about
about
mother
it to not have
it's-
watched.
It's about mother-daughter boundaries.
Really?
Yeah, that's not.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know a lot about that.
yeah.
All right, Denver at Jacksonville.
Denver at Jacksonville.
So this is the game you were talking about. That might be a trap, but Denver really needs it.
Denver needs it now. Broncos by 6.
Okay. I went high too. I said 7. 4.5.
Just want to point out that the last 4 Jaguars games barely lost to the Chiefs,
Yep.
barely lost to the Texans, barely lost to the Lions, barely lost to the Bills. They're hanging around in these games.
I know.
Yet Gus Bradley is the least successful football coach of all time
Yeah.
by any metric of anyone who's coached for 3.5, 4 years, whatever that is.
And they're an atrocious team to watch. If you have any amount of money on them for any of those 4 games, you kill yourself before you
I
watch.
feel bad for the receivers because I actually think Robinson and Hearns might be good,
Yeah.
but we'll never know until they're on a different team.
Hearns has disappeared, right?
Yeah. I thought they were good last year.
Right.
I picked up Sammy Watkins in fantasy like 2 months ago, and he somehow got 80 yards last week or
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yesterday.
And what? How does our fantasy league work? 3 teams in each division make it?
No, the 2 division winners and then the 4 with the best record. You could maybe sneak in.
I could maybe sneak
Yeah, there
in.
could be like 4 from your.
Because Sammy Watkins is back.
Yeah, having my other week. All right, you have to do a plot. We have late afternoon games we're in now.
Oh, so what's the best early game?
Best early game, KC Atlanta. It's got to be.
Yeah.
Not a ton of great ones.
Yeah, I would go with KC Atlanta.
Detroit, New Orleans. I don't
Ravens Dolphins is a borderline loser leaves town match.
Yeah.
It might even be a loser leaves town match.
know. Yeah, you're right.
What do you think of the Harbaugh holding the people on the safety play?
I liked it. I kind of liked it.
They do need to figure out the last 12 seconds
Of something like
when
that.
somebody has a lead when they can do dumb shit like that.
Yeah.
Because especially on a Hail Mary, you just have 14 guys out there every time.
Right. It's so simple. It's like, we're not going to let you touch our ball. It's our ball.
Yeah.
It's like, we're going to hold. It's fun. Though, if that line was 5 and I had Baltimore and they took a safety at the end, I would have been going nuts.
All right, late
was
games.
close.
What do you got?
All right, Buffalo at Oakland.
It's a nice game.
It's a good one.
I can't tell if Buffalo's good or not.
Yeah,
I mean, they're
know.
definitely not, they're definitely better than mediocre, but I wouldn't call them good either. Which puts them in line with about 12 other teams.
Takes
but
them a while to get going, for sure.
any team that can get 70-yard touchdowns
Mm-hmm.
and play a little defense and run the clock a little bit has to be taken a little bit seriously. But
Yeah.
I don't think their defense has, Rex has this reputation as.
Yeah, it's not as imposing as you would think it is, but their offense, they do have big playmakers on offense.
I have the Raiders by 4 in this one.
We both get this. It's exactly 4. How many times do we have to see that Carr replay before we could figure out what the hell happened to his pinky?
Yeah,
What
nobody
was that?
wanted to say, was he just.
He got stuck in the center's ass? I don't know what happened. It was really weird.
So my daughter got a splinter in her finger, and
Yeah.
we took it out, and she cried for 12 straight minutes as we took it out. She's like 11 and a half. It's
Right.
like, you're not 6 anymore. I felt like that's how Carr reacted to the finger a little bit.
Well,
it wasn't even
looked
broken or
weird.
dislocated.
I mean, he came out with this OJ glove. I don't know what it was.
But
And
the
he
announcer's like, Derek Carr was screaming in pain, in agony.
said it was the most pain he's ever felt in his life. He said
But
that.
it was a jammed finger. That's
Yeah.
like if you play basketball, you get those
It
once
looked
every
like it was,
3 weeks.
It looked like it was off. I just don't know how the hell it happened.
I was disappointed it wasn't. I
very
was ready
strange.
for a whole subplot of can Derek Carr play with this broken hand? David
Right.
Carr? Derek Carr.
Now you got me confused. It's Derek.
It's
Yeah.
Derek.
Yeah. Maybe
Carr wears 2 gloves.
Does he?
Yeah.
He should have come out. The brother should have come out and helped out.
But my dad and I were texting. We never take pleasure in other teams' injuries,
Right.
but it was a pretty interesting monkey wrench for the Patriots trying to get the 1 seed. If
Sure.
Matt McGloin is now the Raiders quarterback,
Right.
that would have really helped us.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a weird game. That was a very strange game. Panthers, it doesn't seem like they should be out of the playoffs. They seem too good.
No, I would say if they had if you could clinch 11 of the 12 spots, but the 12th spot was a tournament, I mean, they could never do this. You'd have to take like 3 weeks to play it, but they would be the most dangerous non-playoff team
For sure.
to be coming into the whatever.
Saints are right up there, too. All right,
Yeah.
Tampa Bay at San Diego. This is another one, traveling 3,000 miles. Buffalo's also traveling 3,000 miles. Tampa Bay's traveling 3,000 miles.
Chargers by 3.5, I have.
I nailed this one. It's 4. And I don't know. I wish I loved the Chargers more at home because I think that would be my pick.
We've talked about this before multiple times. They don't really have a home field advantage.
No.
So, in the Bucs, something's happening. Jameis is giving these great speeches after the wins. Mike Evans. There's a toughness with that team now.
I will say they scored 14 points, Like they look
Sure.
like they can move the ball. And, you hear 1,000 things, people throwing things out on Twitter or announcers like, Seahawks missed Earl Thomas yesterday on defense. Like, they scored 5 points.
Right.
They lost the game because they scored 5 points. What are we talking about here? But no, that was definitely a good win. I don't know if they can repeat under these circumstances.
I will say, though, it was one of those games where the clock was moving super fast.
Yeah.
Like Tampa's first drive, that by the time Seattle got the ball, the only reason I noticed this was because I needed Wilson to have a big fantasy day. And he had the ball for like 5 plays in the first quarter. All of a sudden, it was the second quarter. He had like no passing yards.
Yeah.
And it was just like Tampa just chewed clock with whatever they were doing.
Yeah.
They get a couple big first downs. Their tight end's pretty good now.
They have the fastest moving clock in the league. They boast about it all the time.
That was a nice win. I think we have to take them seriously.
Plus
to beat the Chiefs and the
350.
Seahawks.
Plus 350 to win the division. A game out, a game behind Atlanta, and they have the win over Atlanta. You like that, Bill?
Plus 350 is in Denver. Plus 550 are the two interesting long range
One
bets.
of them-
I was
one of
looking
them
at
coming
AFC NFC. Tampa's 30-1 to win the NFC.
Yeah.
That seems high.
Yeah, when there's no good
'Cause they
Green
could
Bay
win
team,
that division,
no
yeah,
Carolina,
it's
no
like-
Arizona.
They could win the division. Atlanta could lose to KC this week. Tampa could be in the driver's seat. They play Atlanta twice.
I feel like if they won this week, it would be down to like 20 to 1 or 18 to 1 or something. That's
Yeah,
not
when
bad.
we talk, people always misunderstand when we talk about long range odds. We're just talking about what the best value is. I don't think Tampa's going to win the NFC, but
No, we never ever have won on one of these, but
No,
we just
no.
like to talk about it. Yeah.
but Washington's 25-1 is the other one that I thought seemed a little too high because they're
Sure.
going to win in round one probably, and they could go in anywhere and beat anybody.
Well, they almost just went in Dallas to win, so sure.
KC 10-1 seems high to me. If
What?
if Tyreek Hill is going to turn into this weapon that he seems like he's turning into,
Right.
on and off the field,
Weapon.
10-1. I don't know. That team, they have a good coach.
Oh, I think they're very balanced.
Yeah,
I love that team.
probably the most balanced of all the teams. I
Yeah.
think Denver and KC are the two
And
most
they have
balanced
grit.
teams.
They have more grit than the Raiders. Washington and Arizona, another team traveling, maybe better team on the road traveling, long distance.
I have the Cards favored by 1. I love the Redskins.
I said 1.5, and it's 2.
I think the Cards are done. I
So
thought
you
they
like
quit.
all these teams that are traveling? Like
I thought the Cards quit in Atlanta.
Yeah,
I think they're done.
I think the spread from last year is built into some of these Arizona lines too. Like they probably shouldn't be favored in this game.
I agree.
All right, good. I just needed you to agree.
I agree with you.
Giants at Steelers, maybe the game of the day.
I think there's a lot of good games.
There's
We
some
went
good
from
ones.
like there are no good games ever to like
Right.
there's 5 good games because I think
Well, the
Chargers
Browns
Bucks.
are off. That's why.
Yeah, thank you. Chargers Bucks and Raiders Bills are both good ones, but I had the Steelers by 4.
I said 4 as well. It's 6. They need it more.
When do the Steelers get their receivers back to where they need to be? Like Sammy Coates, he's out there playing. They're like, hey, they can only run straight line passes because
Yeah.
Sammy, all of his fingers are broken.
Right.
10 broken fingers.
I don't think it matters. I think Antonio Brown's in a groove now, and it came at the expense of the Colts,
Le'Veon
who
Bell.
didn't have a chance to win.
That's still the team nobody with home field advantage wants to see in round 1 or 2.
Right.
The Steelers. They
It's a
just come
weird
in,
thing.
they're gunslinging.
Have they killed anyone at home this year?
No, it's like a Packers thing where
Yeah.
we're basing it on past reputation.
That said,
Even that Colts game, win that Colts game by 50.
right. They you like the Steelers and the Saints on a teaser so far.
I don't think there's any way the Jaguars could beat the Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
I just think the Broncos and they need it.
Yep.
I would throw them in there.
They should give Bortles a fit. All right, Sunday night, Carolina at Seattle.
Oh, wait, before we do this.
All right, go ahead.
Our friends at Sonos, we talk about them every week. The smart speaker system that streams all your favorite music to any room or every room. Control your music with one simple app on your phone or iPad or any other device. Fill your home with pure immersive sound. Sal, you could do this before the holidays. You could play different Christmas songs in each part of the house.
You can do it. I love it.
Sonos brings your music together in one simple app. It's all your favorite music services. You control everything from the choice of songs to the volume to the rooms. Play your music in any room or every room at once, or play a different song in the living room, bedroom, even bathroom. Play the same track in every room. Do whatever you want. You can't have a party without Sonos. You just can't. Add your existing music services or discover something new. Go to Sonos.com right now. Sonos. Sonos.com. Highly recommended. All right, Sunday night game.
Carolina at Seattle.
It's a nice one. The Panthers are a cross-off. We're positive.
Oh, man. I don't want to do it yet. I know I've probably said in previous podcasts that they're gone, but they're 4-7.
So they have to go 9-7,
They have to win all 5.
which means they can only win their division. Mm-hmm. Atlanta would also have to go 9-7, which means Atlanta would have to lose to the Chiefs. They would have to lose at Carolina and at New Orleans. That's
happen.
doable.
Could happen.
Tampa, I was wrong. I said Tampa. Tampa's already played Atlanta twice. Tampa is 6-5.
Tampa split with Atlanta? They played them twice?
Yeah,
They won the first game, I know. They
Yeah.
split with them. Okay.
it's split them. Tampa's got at San Diego, home New Orleans, at Dallas, at New Orleans, home for Carolina. I mean,
That
that's
seems
shit.
tough.
They could lose at least 2 of
That
those.
seems tough for Tampa, yeah.
New Orleans,
Disregard everything Bill said about Tampa 25-1 being good.
New Orleans, home Detroit, at Tampa, at Zona, home for Tampa, at Atlanta. That's the one Tampa plays twice, New Orleans.
Right, okay.
So New Orleans could go for it. We could 9-7 4-way tie in the AFC South is conceivable.
Well, if they could beat Seattle, I think they could do it. But this is
So they go home San Diego, at Washington Monday night, home Atlanta on a Saturday, at Tampa. It's not happening. I think
I think Seattle's like, screw this. We're coming off a loss. Again, East coming west.
Oh, you think they mail it in?
No, Seattle has to win. Seattle got crushed by them in the playoffs, right? Isn't this a revenge game a little bit? I mean, I know it ended up closer than it should have been, but they were
If you're
losing by
Seattle, do you
30.
just try to get a 3 seed and not even care?
At this point, yeah.
Do you just do you use the rest of the season to just?
Well, who's going to be
They're
a
7-3-1. They have a 3-game lead over the Cardinals, who they tied with, and get to play again in Week 16. But they also have at San Francisco in Week 17. And they get to play the Rams on a Thursday night.
They can get a 2 seed. Atlanta's 7-4. Seattle's 7-3-1.
They could. I'm saying though, if they're banged up, could they just start doing weird shit?
Maybe, but not maybe.
I'll tell you one thing with Seattle that I didn't hear the announcers really mention properly, and maybe they did, and I was just on another channel. I think they really missed that pro size guy.
Sure.
I thought he was a dangerous, third down back guy, and not having a running back who could catch the ball out of the backfield was a big miss for them yesterday.
Yeah, Rawls isn't. It's not the same.
Rawls isn't. That's not what he does. He just runs the ball.
Yeah.
But not having that, whoever.
I agree. That was just a weird game.
The Pats did something yesterday that I think they realized was great, and they immediately stopped doing it because they didn't want to show anything in the Jets game. They had Lewis and James White in the backfield together, shotgun with 3 receivers spread out, no tight ends, which they had to do because Gronk and Bennett were hurt. This is a Madden formation that is kind of devastating in Madden if you have the 2 backs, because you can send the back either way. The linebackers have to go with them, and then you crisscross over the middle.
You love it.
It's kind of unstoppable. They did it once, it worked, and then they were like, fuck this, we're not showing this again.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that with Lewis back, the Pats offensively have
They have a
ridiculous
lot of
options.
tricks.
Then you look at the flip side, like the Seahawks don't have the personnel to do really anything other than just, here's Jimmy Graham, here's Baldwin, here's Curse, here's Lockett.
Those are
it's-
decent options, though, compared to
They
some
are,
of
but
these
they don't
others.
have not having the safety valve is
Right.
a problem, I think.
The Vikings would love any of those guys.
True.
What'd you have? This is a big line here. What'd you pick?
The Seahawks by 6 over the Panthers.
I think we split it. I had 7, and it's 6.5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
We had a lot of ties today.
You're up. You're up by 1 going into the last game, and I think you're going to get this because I was off by 4 points.
The Jets by 2.5 over the Colts. Monday night.
You are going
in
to
New
get
York.
it. You get it by a half point. I said Jets by 3. The Colts, assuming Luck is back, favored by 1.
Oh,
So you win.
I don't think the Jets are that bad. I thought they were bad earlier in the season, but I didn't
They
think
play hard against your team, and that's
maybe
it.
that's it. They look good yesterday.
Did you
though.
think there was a chance Belichick was going to run from the what would they end up at, like the 4-yard line, to run up the score?
Well, 2 weeks in a row we haven't done it.
He doesn't hate Bulls that much, right?
There's 2 weeks in a row where the Pats passed up a cover,
Yeah.
and just did the kneel. But Blunt was trying to score again on
He
that
was.
last one. He was
got
really
pushed
going
out of
for
bounds, but I thought they might even run another play.
it. Blunt's been incredible, and I don't think people even remember that the Steelers waived him last year.
Right. That's right.
He's going to rush for 1,200 yards and like 13 TDs
He's like
or
a top
something.
4 running back now, right? Yeah.
We ran a wide receiver option pass with Chris Hogan. I don't know if you saw it,
I did see that, yeah.
which is like the third time in 15 years that Belichick has done that with a wide receiver.
I got confused with all the Hogans in the league and which one's a quarterback and which not, and which one's suing Gawker. I couldn't get it straight.
Before we go, what was the best entertainment thing you watched over the week, over the Thanksgiving break? Best movie, best TV show, best anything.
Frosty Returns.
Oh, you banged
So
out
it was
all
the
those?
best, yeah. we record them and watch them, and kids have to pretend like they're seeing it for the first time. What'd you say?
FXX was running a Simpsons marathon,
Oh.
starting number 1 all the way through.
Oh, really?
I think my kids watched at least 35 of the first 100.
Yeah.
It was just one of those. It was just the next one comes on. It was just never ended.
They're
It just
great.
kept going. That was pretty cool. The best movie I saw was Don't Breathe, which is a horror movie
Oh, yeah.
that I thought was excellent. Really, really good.
That's in the theaters, or were you?
No, it's on demand now.
I see.
Or no, it's Amazon.
Okay.
That was really good. I watched Creed again.
That's awesome.
I think it's going to age nicely.
Oh, you do?
I think we're going to really. I thought it was terrific when I saw it. I think it's going to have a second cable rewatchability
Wow.
thing just going. That's just
What's
going to
the
last
next
for
one,
a while.
though? Are they going to screw it up? Because there's going to be
Creed
another
2?
one. Yeah. How does it go?
My only problem with
Does
Creed.
he go bad?
Which one?
Does he turn bad?
Oh, Creed. He goes
Yeah.
angry. The only problem with Creed is Ricky Conlon's like just not in shape.
I know. Yeah, it's stupid. He's pound for pound the greatest fighter.
He's pound for pound and pound
Yeah.
and more pounds. The other thing that was fascinating from a sports standpoint this weekend was the boxing match with the Russian guy who's the super featherweight.
Oh, I didn't see that.
You didn't watch this one?
No.
So the other thing I watched, just because I was told by the boxing people in my life, Lomachenko was fighting on Saturday, who's this super featherweight. He won gold medals in 2008 and 2012. He came in to real boxing. In his second fight, tried to win the title, which would have been the earliest anyone had ever won that. Nobody has ever been a 2-0 champion
Right.
before. Fights this guy, Salido, before the fight, he's like 8 pounds overweight. So they strip him of the belt. The Lomachenko fights him anyway. He shouldn't have. Should have just canceled the fight.
Right.
Guy comes in. He's 12 pounds bigger. Wins the unanimous decisions. Like low blowing the whole time. So he was 4-1 heading in this fight. He might be the best pound for pound fighter right now.
Really?
He destroyed this guy Walters, who I think was like 26-0 at 21 knockouts, and was like a puncher, and like people like Kellerman were so excited for this fight.
What round did he beat him in? I'm
So-
looking at this now.
After the 7th round, the 6th and 7th round, he was beating him so badly, the guy quit.
Wow.
Like he no-mossed it. And then Kellerman's interviewing him after, he was like, you kind of no-mossed it. Like, did you quit? And the guy was like, those last 2 rounds, I just felt like I couldn't beat him.
Wow.
And at that point, you just start thinking about long-term. He had this excuse. He was basically like, I quit. I didn't want to get hit in the head anymore.
Interesting.
It was amazing. You see that 5 times a decade where the fighter just makes the other fighter quit over
I'm gonna have to watch that.
You have to
I know I
watch it. This
missed
guy Lomachenko is a beast.
But it shows you how great Andre Ward is because he knew early on that Kovalev was stronger.
and he just figured out and he
How
adjusted.
many times
and
can you all right, this guy's stronger. I'm just gonna try not to get killed.
I
and
watched
lose
that one a
117,
second time
111.
too.
Yeah, I did too.
I think it's 6-6.
6-6 and the knockdown gives it to Kovalev.
I think Kovalev should have won
That's
by a
exactly
point.
That's what I had, and I watched.
I
it the
don't
second
see
time.
how Ward won 7 rounds.
Yeah.
Tough one. All right,
Let's
what do you
do
have
it
to
again.
plug?
That's it. Cousin Sal Sure Thing 3-0 last week. I'll have another $1,000 prop bet challenge for you. 9 a.m. Pacific time Friday. We're on reruns at Jimmy Kimmel Live, and hit me up at the Cousin Sal on Twitter.
We're not on reruns with Jimmy Kimmel's email, I'll tell you that much. A lot of controversy this week.
Oh yeah, with Baby Doll, right?
Daily Show book.
Yeah.
A lot of controversy. we want to avoid it?
I don't know if we could talk about it. I
Oh,
don't know.
man. A lot
I
of
don't know.
controversy. A lot of email controversy this week. Thanks to Simply Safe. Save $200 off their exclusive holiday package. Full-on burger protection, 17 sensors, wireless connection, 24/7 home security. Keep your home safe around the clock. Get your $200 off today. Go to simplysafebs.com. The sale ends soon. Thanks to Sonos, the smart speaker system that streams all your favorite music to any room or every room. Control your music with one simple app. Fill your home with pure immersive sound. Add your existing music services or discover something new. Go to Sonos.com right now. Don't forget to check out all the other Ringer podcasts, including Tate's Teed Up, College Hoops. It's one of the reasons Tate doesn't update our ZFL poll is
just gonna
because he's
say.
doing College Hoops podcasts.
You should punish him and not turn the mics off until he sends out the emails.
Oh, do you know what college basketball player I'm in love with?
Who? Lonzo Ball.
I fucking love Lonzo Ball. UCLA has this guy. He's like
yeah,
a once
yeah.
in a decade. This guy's unbelievable. I
Nice.
always heard he was good. I actually watched him in like 4 minutes. I was like, oh my God. This guy's everything I want from a college
Really?
basketball player.
Austin Rivers when he passes.
Nice.
Oh, come on. That's terrible. How dare you say that? Tate just said he's Austin Rivers when he passes.
How good is he at running football pools? Maybe we can have him do that.
If Lonzo Ball's listening, I want you to run our pool, but no, he's like a cross between Ricky Rubio, the best version when Ricky Rubio was 18 in my head I ever had for Ricky Rubio,
Right.
crossed with like, I don't know, like any 6'6" great shooting guard.
Really?
But he's like a guard, but he handles the ball and he always makes the right play. He's everything I ever wanted.
All right.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy to have a favorite college basketball player because
Very
Ben
excited
Simmons.
for Bill.
Ben Simmons let me down
I know,
last
he
year. I
did.
was so fired up for him, and I
we
was
bet
kind of
LSU
blinded.
at 60-1.
Oh
and
my
they didn't
God!
Make the tournament.
This Lonzo Ball, yeah, we got to bet UCLA.
Let's do it.
All right, Sal. Good job by you.
Good job by you, Bill.